Namaste, I'm Kanika.
And I am Nana. Welcome back to our channel
Hot Hazelers. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about the modern history of South Korea, and if you missed the first part of our Korean history, then we're going to share the link in the description. So please check it out once if you're a bit interested about to know the South Korean history. As I told you that we are going to talk about the modern history, shall we start that?
Yes.
That's great. Modern era begins in 1910 and continued till the independence of South Korea.
In 1944, Korean Independence League was formed by the leaders of Korea due to forced labor and cultural values imposed by the Japanese delegates.
In the long run, Japanese occupation was beneficial for the modernization of Korea, promoting economic progress.
In August 1945, interim government was established in Seoul immediately after Japanese surrender due to protests nationwide. That interim government was named as Korean Provisional Government.
On August 1945, Korean people received their news of liberation as the World War II ended. They were both jubilant and dismayed because the country was divided along the 38th parallel.
This decision was masterminded by the US policymakers in Washington, D.C. as the best means of preventing Russians from occupying the entire peninsula of Korea.
Without any consultation with Korean leaders, President Harry S. Truman honored 38th parallel on August 16th.
South Korea was occupied by the US Armed Forces in September 1945. US forces formed a military government in Seoul and ruled for 3 years.
Meanwhile, Soviet began to occupy North Korea in 1945. General Assembly of UN called for the establishment of United Korean Government.
Through a general election supervised by a 9-nation commission UNTCOK, which is United Nations Temporary Commission on Korea, to hold a nationwide election in feasible parts of Korea, mainly southern parts of Korea. These elections were held in May 1948.
Korean Supreme People Assembly was established in August 1948 and elected Kim Il-sung as its premier and inaugurated Democratic People Republic of Korea in September 1948.
This was the lawful government of Korea reorganized by Soviet Union, which withdrew its occupational troops by the end of the year. The two regimes that emerged in Korea were committed to national reunification, but only within their separate ideological specification.
The Korean National Assembly adopted the national constitution in July and elected Sang Man-ri as the first president of Republic of Korea. Birth of ROK was proclaimed on 15th August 1948. US reorganized ROK in 1st January 1949. On late June of 1949, US withdrew the troops from the peninsula.
Meanwhile, in June 1949, North Korean Communist Party was organized. On 25th June 1950, North Korean leaders launched Korean War with a surprise attack. President Truman immediately commenced US forces to drive North Koreans back to their half of the peninsula. The American troops used the UN machinery to enforce the concept of global collective security.
Negotiation commenced at Kaesong in July 1951 and dragged for 2 years at Panmunjom until armistice was signed on July 1953. US appeased South Korean leaders by signing a mutual defense treaty in October 1953.
Alright guys, that's all for today's video.
If you like our video, do like, share and subscribe to our channel Hot Hazelers, and we'll share the link of our previous video in the description. Hope you'll check it out. Goodbye!